So I'm adding this disclaimer before the video even starts. You'll hear me say for this setup a lot fuzzy, and there's nothing that really, by the infill definition of what a fuzzy is, there's nothing really having this come out and perform as how a fuzzy should work. There's nothing preemptive that the enemy has to block that I can mix between a high-low, and they have to guess afterwards, or like if they block low, that's what actually performs the fuzzy. This is just essentially a high-low 50-50 setup that you can do, but there are still situations when you go for the fuzzy setup that are pretty rewarding in their own right and way. So excuse me for all the numerous times that I'll say fuzzy when I knew that it wasn't really a fuzzy, but my brain just kept using that word, and I just said to myself later on, like, I'm not gonna re-record all of this all over again. So please excuse me overusing the word fuzzy, and enjoy the tech. Hey guys, so I'm making this video just to put out this very specific piece of tech that Vane has. For those that aren't in the Twitterverse, Vane has a fuzzy setup that he can go for, and it's not so much of like, okay, he has a fuzzy and you know this is what the video is about. It's more so the follow-ups that he can do from this, and what I found to be like the better option for him to go for. This way of doing it is very expensive, but like there are so many good turnouts and situations for him if you go about the fuzzy setup like in this manner. Just to show what the fuzzy setup exactly is. So yeah, if you're able to go for the whole situation and it works out for you, you're able to get a safe jump after a whiff jab, and you know, you can keep the pressure going. So you might be thinking, why is it that I'm going for ultimate air axe swing? You know, shouldn't you be able to go about it like that with the shield? So let me try and get this combo done. So that's kind of issue number one. If you already used the EX axe swing, you can't really utilize it afterwards. So in order for you to be able to replicate it, like you would have to either just honestly simplify it or get like a counter hit close heavy, so that way you could at least go for medium DP. Now, that's the issue. If you look at the combo counter, it didn't say 5 hits like in the example before, it said 4 hits. So that's already issue number 1 right there. And if we also try and replicate this for like an after the fact, I'm -2 now as the Vane player, so the opponent gets to take their turn if they want to. So going for that setup, you know, doing the EX air axe swing isn't really true. So that's why you want to go for ultimate. Also for the fact that if we do ultimate and it doesn't work out, like they're able to block it, you see right there that we're +2 instead and the opponent is -2. So we're still able to keep our turn. Like we can go for this, we could probably go for a dash L if we want to, you know, walk up a little bit, like stagger pressure. So you may be wondering, alright, this whole mix-up situation seems like we don't want to deal with it. So what are our answers around it? Can we DP? Can we guard cancel? Can we super out? Like what are our options? So here's kind of the interesting thing about this setup. So that's the good. If they go for the fuzzy, then they'll get hit by the DP, and I have done this with other characters. Some will whiff, some will connect, but showing how Siegfried's DP just only leads to 1 hit. And of course, Siegfried showing why he is now #1 in the game. His super very specifically can just avoid the shield altogether and punish you for going for the jump light fuzzy attempt. So that's not good. Now, what if you're a character that doesn't have Siegfried's super, for example, just be able to freeze time and avoid the situation altogether. You're probably going to go for guard cancel, especially if you're a character that doesn't have a normal DP, or you don't have enough meter to go for your ultimate DP. Well, that frickin' sucks. the Fuzzy's just able to avoid that altogether. So, alright, what if you're able to avoid it? Well, not avoid it, more so like just delay until the X-Wing comes down, right? Now is the question of, for Vane at least, how can I avoid having to deal with the DP? He, after the reset situation, is actually able to get a safe jab. So I know that looked a little weird, so let me just show you how the recording is supposed to play out altogether. So yeah, that's another safe jump setup for Vane, and as shown before, it's DP safe, so if the opponent DPs, or even if the opponent goes for super, they're able to protect themselves afterwards. So alright, if that's an option, the positive now from there is guard cancel is a much better thing to go for. Like once you see that, you know like, okay, I probably should be able to guard cancel, and then it's just the bait afterwards, right? What is kind of a negative for Vane is that if he does try to go for that, he's not like plus afterwards. Because I know a lot of people are saying that this move is Aegis Reflector, but as you can actually see right there, Aegis Reflector in Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 5 would like have the opponent bounce, and because of that bounce, if he was in this game, he would get the fuzzy, the mirror would probably hit the opponent twice, and he would still have time to like go for whatever. Like he'd probably go for that and then get like a good confirm if 2-2U actually worked like Aegis Reflector. This is like immediate. 1, 2, 3. It's immediate. Really, once this happens or once this happens, it's up to the Vane player to either go for like the bait or try and steal your turn as much as possible and have it seem like, oh, this is just something that you have to deal with. So just to show as an example. Alright, that's two spots that Vane can just set this up and kind of take his turn and force you to either make a very dire situation, or he can just continue to take his turn. Are there any other answers that we can get out of this if we're not Siegfried, right? Like let's say if we're Loane. Okay, interesting, but that also doesn't help us out because remember, ultimate shield isn't ultimate, so that's a free knockdown for Vane. You're able to avoid the situation as a whole, but what do you really get out of it? And even then, with a parry like Loane's, you can still go for the dodge if you react to it. So this doesn't help out Loane really in the slightest. What about someone like Nier? Oh, all right. That doesn't really help her case out either. What about if we did ultimate DP? That helps out, but you might find that risky that you have to spend the 50 just to try and say get off me, right? What about parry supers? Nope, doesn't work out because you gotta remember most supers now in this game don't really have projectile invincibility, so that doesn't help us either. So okay, ultimate DPs will help out because you also have to remember with ultimate DPs, they essentially come out faster than your average DPs, and because of the slowdown, they're able to get out of most situations. Let's say you don't want to do that, right? Oh, well, hey, look, we can dodge out of that. The dodge works. So there's nothing really to fear. If we're able to dodge, then essentially we can try and take our turn afterwards. Right? That seems like a good situation. Oh. The safe jab setup actually can help cover Vane. And if you're even expecting a roll as Vane, you can still go for the 2L to try and punish that attempt, but again, you have safe jump as an option. So okay, rolling is risky, but there are options that we can get out of it with the roll. And if we know that we can roll through the shield, if they go for the fuzzy, that should work out, right? Alright, sweet, look at that. We can avoid that situation altogether. Can we get a punish afterwards? Oh. Oh, okay, the shield's in the way. Alright, maybe an air interaction with Vane, since he has his jump U? No, okay, he's able to recover really quickly after that, so that's a little tough. Okay, what about if we did, like, a ultimate DP, right? Okay, ultimate DP will work because it has the invincibility, so we don't have to worry about the shield. But again, that's the worry of, hey, we're using 50 meter when we could possibly get a better combo on the opponent because they're in the corner now, right? We should be able to punish them in some way, shouldn't we? Maybe we can jump over them. Maybe we can jump over the shield and get a good punish. Not really, the shield will go away, but that gives the Vane player enough time to see that happening and get a punish themselves. Maybe the idea that could work out is that we can catch them while they're jumping and hit them with super. Oh, well, that's not good. So yeah, that's kind of the really big issue that we have right now with Vane. If you're able to avoid this setup, he's falling right into the shield. So if you don't have the meter to ultimate DP, or you're not playing Sig, then you're not really punishing Vane after that. He's gonna be good until he hits the ground, and he's probably gonna be good for like half a second, because the shield will still be active and will protect him from whatever button you throw out. And he can just get a punish afterwards. So yeah, I just wanted to show that piece of tech and try to explain, like, before anyone starts to freak out and say, like, oh my god, what is this character? What is he doing? Why is Vane so broken? Oh my god, he's top 3! He's top 5! I just felt like, okay, this has to be shown. I don't know if people are actually going to lab this out once they get hit by it for like the first time ever. Better to have these answers out now, just so that way people know how to get out of it, and maybe look up in their own way with their characters, like, okay, how can I get out of this? Can I super out of this? Can I do anything out of this? Etc. If this helped, you know, glad it helped you guys out.